Hello, my name is Michelle Carlson. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Eagan, Minnesota. Welcome to my SIP card videos. S.I.P stands for Stamp, Ink, and Paper. I'll be posting monthly videos to showcase products from either the current annual catalog or the current mini catalog from Stampin' Up! These projects are designed for the beginner and casual paper crafter in mind. I'll be making easy, simple projects that you can use any stamp set, ink, and paper to create your own projects. Let me show you what we're working on today. Today I will be featuring the Wild Flowering Designer Series paper and using the Wild Flower Design stamp set. The Wildly Flowering Designer Series paper is located on page 41 in the 2024-2025 annual catalog. The following colors are featured in the Designer Series paper, which are Wild Wheat, Mossy Meadow, Misty Moonlight, Moody Mauve, Early Espresso, and Crumb Cake. One side has a bold pattern and the other side a subtle pattern. Let's take a closer look. This Designer Series paper is really beautiful, and I just love, well, blue is my favorite color, and pink, and I just love the Misty Moonlight and the white flowers here. And then we have Misty Moonlight, different shades of it on the back. Then we have some, I don't know what wildflowers these are, but I just love how these patterns are just so unique. And then just a linen with a crumb cake look on the back. And then we have the wild wheat. And I never really was fond of wild wheat, but in this set of Designer Series paper, I really like it. And then we have Moody Mauve background. And I like the Moody Mauve with the little petite wild flowers, and then the wild wheat with the petite flowers. Then the crumb cake has these gorgeous, white and blue and Moody Mauve flowers on it. And then this just has a plain, linen type look with the Misty Moonlight. And then this is probably one of my favorite with the Moody Mauve and then the petite flowers. And then this side with the larger white flowers with the Moody Mauve background. So the Wildflower Design stamp set is also located on page 41 in the 2024-25 annual catalog, and it's part of a bundle, so you can get dies. And if you do have the dies, you can use this on the cards, but since I want to keep this card simple as a stamp ink and paper, I'm not going to use the dies. And then it comes with the suite too, so you can get the Designer Series paper and the stamp set and this amazing embossing folder and embellishments. So with the stamp set, there's like 3 sentiments that are, are pretty generic, so you can send them for whatever occasion, like sending happy thoughts, you've been on my mind, and thank you. Then we have these wildflowers, and then this decorative design. Now it's time to make the project. Now, I usually don't do the cutting of the project, I just show all the pieces. But I want to show you some tips and tricks on how to cut the cardstock and also how to cut and score the Designer Series paper, because we're going to make this flap card or Designer Series Fun Fold card like this, and I want you to end up with your flowers looking upside down like what I did on this one. So we're going to redo it, and I'll show you how to make sure your directional pattern will be correct on the inside, and then make sure your outside is not non-directional, so it doesn't matter. You would that also help if your designer series paper was non-directional on both sides, so then you don't have to worry about it. So I'm taking a 5.5 by 11 because we want a card base of 5.5 by 4 1/4. So just half of 8.5 is 4 1/4. And hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. And I'm gonna see 4 1/4, line up on that line. Oops. And I need my blade. And then just cut it across. So we got two the same type of pieces, right? 5.5 by 4 1/4. Well, we're going to just leave one as our card base. So with this one, we want their colored layers to be 4 by 1.5 and 4 by 1 inch. So I'm going to turn it so that my 4 1/4 side is going to be now 4 inches instead of 4 1/4. So I'm just going to take a little bit off on this side. Okay, and we can just throw that away. Now we'll turn it so that we're going to do 1 inch. I'm just going to measure at the 1 inch line over here. Cut that off. So you have 1 by 4. Oh, yeah, 1 by 4. And then also 1.5. And that's 1.5 is all the way to the white there, I think. Otherwise, you can just double check over here and do 1.5 on this side, down here. Doesn't really matter. And make sure I have it correct. Put that down, cut it across, and there's my 4 by 1.5. I'll put that over here. Now we have this piece left over. What I'm going to use is this 2 and 3/8 inch punch, and that'll be like our layer for our sentiment. So, how to open up these punches. Here's a locking mechanism. If you push it forward, it'll spring up, and you can put this on the inside and then punch out. And then this is scrapped for some other time. And then to close it up, just squeeze this shut and then push the lock back, and then they lay nice and flat in your case or on your table or wherever you store them. Okay, then next, if you take a 12 by 12 piece of paper, now I already cut a strip because of that other card, we're going to do 12 by 3 inches. And then just make sure you look on the front and back, make sure you got the right directions. So I want to make sure this is going the long way, and I'm just going to cut it on this side. I'm going to cut it at 3 inches because you don't have to cut the others, the 12 inches. This is already 12 inches. I'm going to bring the paper and let's see, make sure that's lined up and not crooked. Let me see that again. 3 inches. Okay. All right. And then we're going to cut. Was it 3? Oh, shoot. I was supposed to cut it at 4. Haha. Okay. Well, good thing I got this piece. I guess I had 3 inches on my mind. So let's cut this at 4 inches then. And you can get, I was thinking, because if you cut it at 4 inches, you can get 3 cards out of this. That's what I was thinking, 3 in my head. So, okay, that 4 by 12. So hopefully that makes sense. You want this at 4 by 12. Then we're just going to cut it 1 inch off, and we'll save that for later as for part of our card. Okay, because at the end we want 11 by 4 inch piece. Okay, so 1 inch, we're going to save that. And then we're going to score this Now, because of this direction, normally you could just score, score, score. But I'm going to turn it around so that I'm scoring, let's see. Yeah, I think that's how hopefully it'll work out. Otherwise, otherwise, like I said, just use something that's non-directional. So I'm going to score this at 2.5 first. And that's my scoring blade with the light one. Don't use your dark one because you'll cut it. And then 7 3/4. Let me get this straight again. Sorry, like I said, I don't usually cut things. So, and then now we go to 7 3/4. And this is why I don't cut things, because it's hard enough to do this in the, it's hard enough to make the card. So 7 3/4, we're going to score. So I'm challenging myself to cut this out for you. Okay, now, yes. So this is a larger flap, and then this is a smaller flap. And so you want the larger flap on top, and then, so yes, I got it. They're going the right way. Yay! So just make sure if one side's directional and you want on that's going the correct way, or turn it over if it's going on the inside. Okay, so where's my handy dandy bone folder? And I will show you what to do next. So here are all the pieces we cut out for this card. We are also going to need a 5 1/4 by 4 white piece for the inside, so you can write our message. And then we're also going to take the 2-inch punch and then punch out a white circle, because that's going to go on top of this circle for a sentiment. First, we're going to glue this onto our card base, and just make sure the larger flap is over the smaller flap. Okay, so I'm going to add some glue on here. Oops, that was plenty of glue. We'll spread that around. And it's just around the edges, or you can use, sticky tape or whatever. This glue is pretty, it's pretty strong, so. Yep, and I kind of like, I'm getting to be more of a glue fan, because then you can move it around a little bit more, and so you can place it where you need it. And then I'm just going to rub the back so that it is solidified down. Okay, now we're going to see the little piece we cut off. We're going to glue this onto our bigger cardstock piece, just at the bottom like that. Then I'm going to, so I don't get my desk all glued or all icky with glue, I'm going to use that silicone mat, because no glue will stick onto that. And then I'm going to use this white diamond trimmed ribbon, and let's see, oh yeah, we are going to use some tear and tape to place the ribbon on the back of the cardstock. So I'm just going to add a piece of tear and tape here, a piece of tear and tape here, and take our handy dandy take your pick tool to pick off the paper. And then we're going to place the ribbon just so it's above or just overlapping a little bit of the designer series paper. So I'll just go like this. And so that there's a like a fourth or an eighth inch showing on the top, right? Then we'll cut that off. Let's see, where's my handy dandy ribbon scissors with the ribbon on it. Let's cut a little piece off to wrap it around. And this ribbon comes in a duo pack. It has the white and then it has petal pink in it also. So we get 2 for 1. And this is a really versatile ribbon. I really like it a lot. I also put Scotch tape over this so that it stays down. It won't come apart, or just making sure, have you ever had ribbon that comes popping off? And yeah, I've had that. So I just take Scotch tape so it's extra sturdy. And then we're going to put glue all over this to glue it down on our designer series paper. And it'll be on the larger flap up on top. So here's the card, and then we're just going to put it on the front flap. And then just put the designer series paper all the way to the edge of that flap. Just like that. Now with this one, we're going to put it on the bottom flap, but we're going to put the ribbon toward the bottom here, and then we'll just keep a nice little border at the bottom. So you'll see what I mean. So here we're going to do the tear and tape again. Okay, and then get that out of the way. We're going to take that off, pieces off. And I'm going to just wrap this ribbon and give it and we'll measure it here before maybe that's too much. So let's bring it down a little bit more. I just want the same width as this up here at the top. So we're going to cut that off. And then wrap it around. And this ribbon can be moved. So before you put the Scotch tape, so you can move that around. So I'm just going to measure it here, make sure this is flush to the top. And then when this comes down, we want to make sure that this is, let's see, just a second. Then we can move this ribbon up a little bit. At least we can adjust. But this is where you need to kind of play around with it. So that's flush. I'm going to put my fingers there. And then when this comes down, we want this ribbon underneath, just underneath this here. So we want this down so it has this nice little border on either side with that in the middle, so it looks like it's all together. So I think we'll be fine with that. Okay, now we're going to put our Scotch tape on this again, and then our glue. I think we need to bring this down a little bit. There we go. Oh, there. I think that's good. Okay. All right. Then I'm going to put the Scotch tape there. Scotch tape over here. And then we'll glue it. Okay, so that would look pretty, huh? And then when you're gluing this on, the wider part should be toward the top. Okay. And the ribbon at the bottom. Okay, so we got that nice on there. So when you bring the flap around, the ribbon should go nicely underneath the flap. You can adjust that too. So just like that. Yay. All right, the next thing we're going to do is stamp our sentiment. So the ink colors I'm going to use is Moody Mauve and Early Espresso. And out of the stamp set, I'm going to use Thank You, this flower, and then this decorative design. So I'm going to ink up the Thank You in Moody Mauve. And stamp it down. And what's nice thing about circles is that you don't have to be, have to worry about being straight, because you just have to tilt it so that it becomes straight. And then with the Early Espresso, I'm going to kind of decorate this with the decorative dot. And kind of go like this. And then this, just to fill up the space a little bit. And then I'm also going to, in Early Espresso, ink up this wildflower and put it there, just to have some decoration. Then we're going to glue this onto our wild wheat circle. So just put some glue there. And just center it. And then we're going to bring our card back in. And we're going to center it on there like this. So is that pretty? So that's the last thing we're going to, well, not the last thing, I guess. We have the inside. But so we are going to put dimensionals on it. I'm going to put dimensionals like one up on top. That's why I was looking to see where the thank you was. So somewhere on the top. And then we're going to put two here, because then we don't want dimensionals to go over this flap, because we don't want it to be glued down. So I am going to put dimensional here and kind of in the middle. Another one here. Okay, and take the papers off of that and the papers off of this one and line it up so the thank you straight, haha, and in the center of your flap. There we go. Then you don't have dimensional showing or anything like that. Now we're going to do the inside. We're going to do one last stamping with the Moody Mauve and the flower, the wildflower, and just stamp it in the corner. If you have another sentiment that you want to stamp, you can do that also. But then we'll be gluing this on the inside of the card, just like that. Actually, I need the next size down, so we'll be cutting that. Okay, so our size should be 5 3 3/4. So I already glued this down. I didn't think you'd want to watch me glue another thing down. So we have this going up and this like this. So that is our S.I.P card for today. And I forgot, we need to put a brushed brass butterfly on our card, because we can't have a card without some bling on it, right? Now our card is done. And it looks just like this one, except this one's birthday. And we have the flowers going in the correct direction. Unlike this one, and I'm just going to show you, that's upside down. So someone's going to have a good laugh on that one. Here's another thank you card I made out of the tan. And oops, getting this too high. So here's that. And then I have another wild flowering designer series paper in blue. So, and that was with the blue one. And this is, I did this one after I screwed up on that one to learn how to make it the right direction. So that is those. And then I have some others that I did with other designer series papers. So I have, I forget what this designer, Unbound Beauty, I think is the designer series paper called. And then with that, so here's another with Unbound Beauty. So what I would do is like, because our designer papers have that, like a subtle pattern, and make sure it's non-directional, like this isn't non-directional or doesn't have any pattern to it at all. That's probably the best for the inside. And then the last but not least, I had to make a masculine card. So I did the Country Woods designer series paper and did Pool Party, and then these little the designer or the embellishments that you get with the wild flower suite, and put that on there, and then just did that on the inside. You will find the measurement and product list on my website, michellesstamping.com, and click on S.I.P cards, and in the drop-down, click on 2024 S.I.P cards. If you enjoyed this project, give me a thumbs up and add a comment underneath. I would love to hear from you, and if you make a card, please feel free to add it to the comments underneath this video. I would love to see your cards and what stamp set and paper you used. I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and help you with any paper crafting supplies you may need. If you would like the new 2024-2025 annual catalog and or to receive my newsletter, please email me at michellesstamping@gmail.com. All these links are below under the video for your convenience. Please click on the subscribe button. It's free to my YouTube channel so that my videos will be in your notifications when I post a new video. Thank you for watching and happy stamping!